Hey there, you. Picture this. You just got your hands on a brand new Android phone. All excited, of course, to dive into the latest apps and features, right? But but wait, what if something huge happened before you even got to the home screen? Like what if Google itself was broken up? Sounds a little crazy, right?
Well, and it's not just hypothetical anymore. I
Sure.
mean, there are actual legal battles going on right now,
Mm,
with regulators pushing for a split of Google's vast empire.
exactly. And that's exactly what this deep dive is all about. It's not about, all the legal jargon or political back and forth. It's about you and what a Google breakup could actually mean for your everyday tech life. Because let's face it, Google's pretty much everywhere we go online, from our phones to our searches to even how we, get the news.
Yeah, you're right. Google's influence is massive.
Yeah.
And any changes to their structure are definitely going to have, big ripples throughout the tech world.
Huge
Yeah.
ripples. Absolutely. And to, try to understand those ripples, we've dug deep into the sources for you. We're talking tech news, economic analyses, even consumer advocacy groups, all trying to kind of paint a picture of what a post-breakup world might actually look like.
Yeah, and what's really kind of fascinating about this is how the potential impacts are kind of split. We're seeing both upsides and downsides, trying to get a balanced view of this whole situation.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's maybe start with the positives. What could actually be good about a Google breakup, right? Because I'll admit it's a little hard to imagine Google getting any less convenient.
Right. Well, and that's where it gets really interesting. One of the key arguments that we keep seeing is that a breakup could actually lead to lower prices for consumers.
Lower prices like for, phones and stuff.
Exactly. Like imagine being able to get, a top of the line Android phone without breaking the bank.
Okay.
The idea is that increased competition would kind of force Google to be more price conscious, which which could then, in theory, translate into, cheaper devices for consumers.
I'm listening. So how does this whole competition thing actually work in this context?
So right now, Google's massive size gives them, this huge advantage in areas like advertising, mobile operating systems,
Mm.
and even, search itself. They basically get to set the rules of the game, so to
Yeah.
speak. But with,
So if they're broken up, it's like they're kind of playing on a more even playing field.
precisely, yeah, with more companies kind of vying for market share,
Hmm.
it could lead to more options for consumers. Think of it like a buffet instead of, just one dish.
Okay, okay. I'm starting to see it. More options is definitely a good thing. And what about, we were talking about more options. Could we see a whole new wave of mobile operating systems popping up, like beyond Android and iOS?
That's definitely a possibility. Um, a breakup could make it easier for other companies to kind of develop their own mobile platforms, which could lead to a more diverse and innovative landscape.
Yeah, think about it. What if there were more choices than just, Android and iOS? It could be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so more competition, lower prices, maybe even a whole new world of phone choices. That sounds pretty amazing, but I have a feeling it can't all be sunshine and roses, right? What about the downsides? What could actually go wrong if Google gets split up?
Yeah, you're right to be cautious. There are definitely some potential drawbacks here, some of which Google themselves have actually been highlighting. One concern is that a breakup could actually lead to higher prices, at least for some services.
Wait, higher prices? Hold on, I thought we just talked about how things could get cheaper, right? Well, it's complicated, and it all kind of boils down to Google's current business model.
Hmm.
See, right now they can afford to offer some services for free or at a very low cost because they make so much money from other areas like advertising.
Yeah.
Think of it like I don't know, like a buy one get one free kind of deal.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
So if they're forced to split up, that deal might disappear.
Exactly. They might have to start charging separately for services that are currently bundled or subsidized,
Mhm.
which could end up, costing users more in the long run. For example, you might see separate fees for things like email, cloud storage, or even music streaming
Mm.
services that are currently kind of woven into the Google ecosystem.
Right, right. And on top of that, I have to imagine that breaking up a company as integrated as Google could lead to a pretty bumpy user experience, right? Like what happens to that seamless connection between all my Google stuff?
Yeah, no, that's a valid concern. A breakup could definitely lead to more fragmentation,
Hmm.
with different parts of Google operating as kind of separate entities. Imagine if your Gmail, your Google Calendar, your Google Drive, suddenly weren't talking to each other so smoothly, or think back to the early days of the internet before things were as streamlined as they are now, when trying to transfer data between platforms was kind of a headache. It could feel a bit like going back to those days, at least initially.
Right, right. Okay, so maybe a little less convenience, potentially higher prices for some things. Speaking of competition, what about Google's biggest rival, Apple? How does all of this affect them? Are they just kind of sitting back, eating popcorn, watching this all unfold?
Well, they're certainly paying close attention. A within Google could be a major opportunity for Apple, especially in the mobile space.
Yeah.
Right now, it's essentially an Android Apple showdown when it comes to phones. And without a dominant Google to contend with, Apple could really solidify its position even further, potentially gaining even more control over the mobile landscape.
Hmm. Interesting. But wouldn't a less integrated Google also mean that the Apple users might actually rely on Google services less? Like what if Google isn't the default search engine on iPhones anymore?
Yeah, that's the flip side of this coin. A breakup could force a reevaluation of those kinds of partnerships,
Hmm.
which could create opportunities for other players in the search and mobile markets. For example, we might see Bing or DuckDuckGo rise as serious contenders in the search space. It's kind of a double-edged sword with both potential benefits and challenges for Apple.
Okay, so we've talked about, prices, convenience, this battle of the tech titans, but what about the big one, data privacy? I mean, Google knows a lot about us. What happens to all that information if they're broken up?
Yeah, that's a crucial question, and one that's being raised by both Google and privacy advocates.
Okay, so what are they saying? Is there a risk that our data could actually be less secure if Google is broken up?
There are definitely concerns.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Prices, user experience, competition, even privacy concerns. It's been a whirlwind, but we're getting closer to understanding what a Google breakup could really mean for you.
And the takeaway is that there's no single answer. It's a complex situation with both potential benefits and risks.
So let's put it all together. Would you, the listener, be willing to trade the convenience and integration of Google services for a potentially less expensive but more fragmented digital world?
It's a question worth asking yourself, and one that's being debated across the tech industry. There's no easy answer, and the outcome is still up in the air.
That's the thing, isn't it? We're at a crossroads, and the decisions made about Google's future will have a huge impact on how we all use technology.
And it highlights the growing power of tech giants and the complex choices we face as consumers in a digitally driven world.
So what's next? Well, we'll keep digging into this, and we'll bring you the latest developments as they unfold.
In the meantime, think about it. What stands out to you? What are your concerns, your hopes, your predictions for the future of Google?
We're not just talking about a company anymore. We're talking about the future of how we connect, learn, and do business in the digital age.
The deep dive continues.
And the journey's just beginning.